I am about to introduce you as a one-time only special release, a debut in your laptop. One of the worst diagrams you've ever seen of the PRINCE2 processes. One of the simplest diagrams you're going to ever see of the PRINCE2 processes. And I have stripped out all the detail, all the fancy stuff that you're going to get in a textbook or through one of the large fancy courses. This is a PowerPoint slide, and it makes no attempt or claim at being something amazing. But once you see the simplicity of it and you walk away going, aha, all right, that's what's going on, you might actually send me a royalty check, but I can only hope. In fact, I think I should copyright it. Not worth it. It's the kind of thing I just want to put out there. And I've only created it for this course because it seemed like a good idea when I was looking at the 7 processes. So we're going to go into each of the processes as we did on the previous modules or on the principles and themes. And then each one will have a version of my amazing diagram for your viewing pleasure. Okay, no drum roll, no transitioning. Here is the diagram that I'm so amazingly proud of. My PowerPoint slide, which summarizes in the most primitive of ways what the processes are in the PRINCE2 methodology. I really think that this is the simplest of ways of explaining something which in the manual looks horrendously complex. But if you'll bear with me, and I'm going to grab my laser pointer, which I'm not very good at using on a track point. Bear with me, and I'm just going to talk to you about this stuff. So let's say in a process flow in sequence, there's the starting up phase of things. And if the starting up process is successful, then you're going to cross this boundary, so to speak, and you're going to initiate the project. And you go into the initiation process, at which time you are appointing the project board. And you have the board that is going to be directing the project manager to actually do the work. So these are not 3 separate steps in directing, but this is the best that PowerPoint could give me. We then also have the process of initiating a project. Then we have controlling of the project or controlling within the management stages. And the logical one then is closing of the project. Stuck out over here is the managing of the stage boundaries. And down here would be the managing of product delivery. So what we have, drum roll though, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 processes. You're starting it up and then you're initiating it, which creates the board, which will be directing throughout, and it initiates the project. So we'll go into the various processes in a teeny bit more detail and highlight where they fit on the diagram. I hope you enjoyed that. I know you're dying to see the diagram, but you're going to have to wait. Certainly until I finish this little bit about starting up a project. Starting up a project initially doesn't look like a lot of work, and it certainly is not starting the actual project. This is when you're getting given a mandate by a sponsor, by a customer, by the portfolio board or the program board to go and do an assessment and an outline business case for how this project, this product that they want, this change that they want might be delivered and what it might be. So you are looking at possible solutions, possible options. You're presenting a few of those in your outline business case, and you're starting to draw on lessons learned from other projects and within your organization, because that factors into your estimates as to the feasibility. Maybe this kind of thing has just completely failed before and it's not even worth starting. but maybe it is. But this is the kind of board you need to put in place. These are the kind of people you need to have in place. This is the kind of contingency you're going to need to build into your financial side of this case. Because of lessons learned, you could put those in. So the end of the starting up phase is actually putting a project brief together for whoever commissioned you to do this investigation. And they will then decide whether you go forward into actually initiating a resourced, budgeted, financed project. So, Mythbuster number 1. When I looked at the manual and I saw that directing a project was the second of the chapters within the processes section, I was confused because I thought you would be directing the project from the very beginning. You've probably read the book and understand it better than I did at that time. But you only start directing a project when you have a project. And at the starting up phase, we don't have a project. We have a starting up phase or a starting up process. So that's what we've just described, and that's where starting up fits into the rest of it. So one of the processes, process number 1, sits off there to the left of my diagram. And on the right in green, I just indicate that it's the project manager, but it's not necessarily the overall project manager, because the person who does the starting up is not necessarily going to be the same person who is the project manager going forwards, although it's a really good idea if it is. You're going to find that the rest of the process explanations is going to go faster and faster because there's these couple of initial ones that set the tone. Because you'll see, I've already mentioned directing a project when I talked about starting up, because I needed to explain why you aren't directing before you even starting up. Directing the project is the responsibility of the project board. The project board is designed during the startup phase. So although it's designed and you may have decided who's going to be on that board, it doesn't exist until the project itself is authorized. And this fulfills the principle of clear, defined roles and responsibilities. It's making sure the right people are on the board, and that would have been agreed at the time of the startup. And then it's ensuring that that board knows what they should be doing throughout the life of the project. So here is the diagram, and all I'm doing is highlighting where the project board starts directing. And you'll see that my startup phase has been replaced by my green block, which just kind of creates the swim lanes, which indicate who's responsible for what.